Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock, and in today's episode, we're asking the question, is Harvard better than church? This is prompted by an article I read in the Wall Street Journal recently about how elite colleges like Harvard, Columbia, Emory, Wellesley are now requiring disagreement essays in their application packages. What they're testing for is how a student engages with other ideological viewpoints with which they disagree. Now, this is prompted by a lot of criticism that Ivy League schools have received, that they are kind of incubators of one way of thinking, kind of left-leaning worldviews, and that they're raising up students who simply cannot engage with people who disagree with them. This is prompted by a cultural divide where increasingly we all live in our own echo chambers and we're incapable of engaging with other people's worldviews, at least in an honest, good faith way. And what these schools are saying is, hey, one way we're going to fix that is if you don't display an ability to do that, then you can't come to school here. Now, a lot of people are criticizing this because they're going, well, how hard is it for a student to write an essay? Just because they write an essay doing that doesn't mean they've actually done that. And look, that criticism is fair, but you got to give the schools credit for trying. I mean, they're saying, hey, we recognize this is a problem and we've got to do something about it. And I got to tell you, when I read this article, not only was I encouraged that they're trying, but also I was disheartened by the fact that what they're doing, a lot of churches aren't trying to do. Now, I want to be clear here. As churches, I'm not suggesting we open ourselves up to worldviews about how to get to heaven. Look, where the Bible is clear, we need to hold the line on truth. But even within the church itself, we have a similar problem. We seem to be unable to have conversations about race or politics or economics or anything that would actually divide us. Even in the church, while we all hold to the gospel of Jesus, we tend to retreat to our corners. When I read about what these schools are doing, it made me think of the words of Jesus in Matthew 5:9, where he says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." He doesn't say, blessed are the people pleasers or those who go along to get along. Jesus all the time said really hard things to people, but he said them in kindness and in love. He also understood the other person's viewpoint. He knew how to put it in a way in which they would say, yeah, that is what I believe. He engaged in good faith conversation. And what these schools are doing is really something the church should be leading the way on. We should be raising up children and actually raising up ourselves to be able to have meaningful dialogue with those around them. Someone once told me, you're really not ready to disagree with someone until you can state their viewpoint in such a way that they'll say, you know what? That is what I believe. That's not what we tend to do, though, is it? We turn their viewpoint into a cartoon, a straw man that's easy to take shots at, and we laugh at how silly they are and really at how smart we are. But that isn't what Jesus meant. Peacemakers are people who understand that people come from their own stories. They have their own backgrounds. There's a reason they believe what they believe. Peacemakers are those who say, it seems like this is what matters to you, who validate the good in other people's worldviews, even while they know they have to point out what is wrong. To put it simply, peacemakers care more about the person than they do the viewpoint. The truth is, we are in a culture that values winning above all else. We want to win arguments. But what Jesus is calling to is to win the person. And sometimes that means not winning the argument, not hitting them with the snappy one-liner, not hitting them with the internet talking points that you have, simply listening to them and commenting, oh, that's interesting. Tell me why you think that. Tell me more, because what we're wanting the person to hear is that we actually care about them. For Christians, conversations, even debates in a personal setting are not about winning the argument. They're about winning the person. Eventually, we have to get to truth, and truth will sometimes offend. But I got to be honest with you. I don't feel like we're offending people with the truth these days. I think we're offending people by being jerks. And there is a big difference. And jerks can't go to Harvard anymore. At least that's what they're trying to do. And I'm not sure there's much place for them in the church either. Let's hold ourselves to a higher standard, not just in the world, but even as we head into the holiday season around the Christmas table. Let's be people who listen. Let's be people who identify the strengths in other people's arguments. Let's be people who win people, not arguments. Look, the truth is on our side. We don't have to be so insecure. So instead, let's make peace. Let's love people and believe that eventually the truth wins out. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Wake Up, Look Up. If you enjoyed it, please help us get the word out by sharing it with someone you think might benefit from it. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get further content, or even download the CCC app, where you'll find even more resources to help you grow in your faith and relationship with Jesus Christ.